Many of us have the idea of starting a business and wanting to be our own boss at a certain moment in our lives. It may be that I see others embarking on a business to reach the pinnacle of life, or it may be that you feel that a dead-end job has buried your talents and obliterated fighting spirit. But are you ready to start a business? Today we will talk about 10 things you must do before starting a business. If you have done these 10 things, you will be ready for the business. If you feel that there is any one or a few things that you can't do anyway, then you need to think twice. 1. Opportunity to win in crisis. The business society is cruel, and any negligence in any link may lose everything. If you want to be able to turn the tide every time you start a business in the future, you must give yourself more opportunities to practice before starting a business. Try to get out of your comfort zone, do some projects you don't often do, or try a new way. New ideas to solve an old problem. Don't always think about safety before starting a business. Since you decide to do something, you must have the determination to move forward. The experience gained by failure is more and more profound than success. Most people failed their first business, including me. But I know that if you fail, you will be closer to success next time, and as long as you succeed once, you are an entrepreneur. 2. Work 80 hours per week. Have you ever seen a hen hatch a chick? To keep the eggs at 37.5 degrees Celsius for 21 days, the hens will stay in the henhouse for a long time, and even forget to look for food. Even if they go to eat, they will return immediately. Because once the temperature is too low, the eggs will go bad. For entrepreneurs, an entrepreneurial idea is finally formed, landed, implemented, and profitable. It's like incubating a life. It can't do without long and hard work. Any time a slack, there are either strong competitors halfway through, or will miss the best time to market. For example, you want to do a study tour project, but you failed to complete the product in time 2 or 3 months before the summer vacation, which delayed the marketing and promotion, and eventually failed to recruit enough students and could not form a group. In this way, the initial investment and signed partners are all in vain. If the breach of contract is involved, high compensation is inevitable. So before you officially start your own business, see if you can work 80 hours a week for a year. Financial freedom and early retirement are things in the future. All of life is work, which is the normal state in the early stage of entrepreneurship. 3. Master the ability of fast learning and resource integration. As the core figures of an enterprise, entrepreneurs often have to deal with many new challenges and solve various emergencies in a short period of time. Therefore, the ability to learn quickly is very important. Through fast learning, entrepreneurs can master the core of a field to solve the most important problems of the moment. Therefore, it can quickly cut into a new field in a short period of time and can be used flexibly in different environments. For entrepreneurs, this is a necessary ability. Another very important ability is to integrate resources. It is the ability of people to collect effective information based on specific problems. In the information age, people are required to be able to effectively transform the vague problems they face into clear keywords, accurately locate problems, and find information that is helpful to them. Everyone can search, but some people search for useless information, and some people cannot extract the most valuable content from the massive results. High-level consultation can achieve the integration of scattered resources and successfully solve problems. For entrepreneurial leaders with insufficient manpower and limited resources, without the ability to learn quickly and integrate resources, the future is doomed to be miserable. 4. Closing. Countless successful entrepreneurs all start from sales. They are as famous as Warren Buffett and Tesla CEO Elon Musk. Grant Cardone, known as one of the most influential CEOs in the world, is a famous American car sales king. Sales king. Rich dad Robert Kiyosaki also admitted many times in interviews that his early office supplies sales experience laid a solid foundation for him to become a successful entrepreneur in the future. Sales thinking has played a positive role in product display, business negotiations, market development, and investment negotiations. A successful entrepreneur does not necessarily have to be a salesperson but must master sales thinking and know sales. 5. Work experience in a startup company. Every year, fresh graduates will have this entanglement, whether to go to a big company with development or a startup company that gives more money. It is difficult for us ordinary people to get in touch with entrepreneurial bosses through our own contacts, So the easiest way to reach such people is to choose a promising startup company, such as an assistant chief operating officer or similar positions, which can give you the opportunity to work with the founders and startup team of this company every day, and grow rapidly through their precepts and deeds, so that you can quickly understand how a startup company should operate, and have a comprehensive understanding of all aspects of a startup company. Compared with large companies, startups will rely on relatively generous salaries to make up for the lack of benefits, which may also accelerate the accumulation of startup funds. 6. Self-motivation. Self-motivation is to make people in a state of excitement by stimulating their behavioral motivation. This state not only enables us to face everything with passion but also helps us meet challenges and overcome negative emotions. If you want to start a business, you must be able to motivate yourself. Some people hope to get motivation from others, but relying on others for motivation is like the battery of a mobile phone, and the battery will soon become very low. If the charging cable is not around at this time, the energy will be exhausted. As an entrepreneur, you must be able to be full of abilities all the time. When others are unreliable, you can only do it yourself. When a person is self-motivated, that person begins to succeed. If this is not possible, it will be difficult to survive in a highly competitive market. 7. Accumulate quality contacts. Many people think that it is not easy to accumulate contacts during the preparation period of starting a business, or even in the early stage of starting a business, because we are not good enough at this time. It is difficult to attract others, but this does not mean that there is no need to accumulate contacts. In business, contracts are money. The core of entrepreneurship is not only the ability but also contacts and opportunities, so we must consciously accumulate contacts at all times. For people with connections, as long as they know how to exchange and cooperate, more good resources will be inclined to him, so that he can have the competitiveness that others do not have. It is better to become an almighty person than to become an expert in one field, and then use the power of others to conquer the remaining fields. The opportunities, resources and experience that high-quality contacts can bring to an entrepreneur are something that we alone cannot obtain in a short period of time. It is much easier to earn the second million than the first million. This is because after earning the first 1 million, you enter a high-level circle, and all kinds of money-making opportunities will actively come to you. 8. Build your own customer base. As an entrepreneur, don't be afraid to share. Before you start your own business project, you should start to build your own customer base or fan base. There are basically no companies that do not operate official online media. Compared with the existing brands with 100,000 or even millions of fans, as a new brand, if it enters the market with 0 fans, it will be very difficult to rely on the online market to drive sales in the future. Customers have a herd mentality. Even if they don't know a brand well and see others are paying attention, they will want to pay attention first. This will attract more and more people's attention, and the conversion rate of effective customers will naturally increase greatly. When your product is completed on the website, at least a small group must be established for the customer group on the associated social media. 9. Raise sufficient funds. Wealth will not be created out of thin air, and all entrepreneurship is inseparable from the first capital. In many instances of entrepreneurial failure, lack of funds is often the main reason why entrepreneurs shed heroic tears in the end. Therefore, confident entrepreneurs must raise sufficient funds first. Generally speaking, in addition to borrowing, relying on their families, and looking for investors, many people choose to save their startup capital from their monthly salary and bonus when they are employees. 10. Position the development direction. Before starting a business, the entrepreneur must decide the direction of development. Think clearly, is to treat this career as a lifelong career, make it bigger and stronger, or use it as a transition to lay the foundation for other projects in the future. It is enough to be able to do a good job in an industry, which is not difficult at all. But many people can't do one thing in their entire lives, simply because they have never analyzed their strengths and weaknesses. They have no idea what they can or cannot do. Whether it's work or entrepreneurship, if you do what you are good at, it will be much easier. If you do what you like to do, you will be less likely to resist feelings when you encounter difficulties, and it is easier to persevere. Therefore, positioning yourself in the field of interest, doing what you are good at, listing the work that you are not competent or not good at in entrepreneurship, and thinking about the channels through which you can solve this problem. These are all you must be done before starting a business. The above are the 10 things you must do before starting a business that I want to share with you today. They are like quizzes. If you fail to pass the quizzes and you want to beat the entrepreneurial exam, I wish you all the best. Here is Monopony, Welcome to like, comment and subscribe. See you next episode.